Hey, I'm Chris with Wahoo Fitness, and today we're going to take a few steps to change the cassette on your kicker. I'll show you the tools to do the job, as well as take you through the process. Your Wahoo KICKR has an 11-speed cassette already installed on it in the box. However, you can adapt your Wahoo KICKR to your 8, 9, or 10-speed drivetrain simply by changing the cassette. First, you're going to need 3 tools. You're going to need a lock ring tool. You're going to need an adjustable thumb wrench or crescent wrench. You're also going to need a chain whip. To start, you're going to remove the skewer from the kicker, as well as any additional axle hardware. The non-drive axle hardware on these kickers are all going to be the same. Our latest generation kicker is going to have an additional part on the drive side, and when you pull the skewer and the hardware out, I find it best to put everything together and put it to the side. This will make sure that you don't lose any necessary parts, but it'll also help when you go to put it back together. It'll also be easier to turn the kicker over on its side so that you can access it from the top down. You're going to start by putting the lock ring tool into the lock ring and wrapping the chain whip around the cassette counterclockwise, and then slide the thumb wrench onto the lock ring tool, and with the chain whip at about 4 o'clock and the adjustable wrench at about 7, push the two together to loosen the lock ring. This will loosen the lock ring enough so that you can finish removing it by hand. Slide the existing cassette off the free hub. If you're using a 9 or 10 speed cassette, you will need the 1.8mm spacer that comes with your kicker. Slide that on first and spin the free hub until you see the smallest spline at 12 o'clock. The new cassette can only go on one way. Next, find the smallest groove on the cassette and line it up with that smallest spline on the free hub. If there are spacers in between each of those individual cogs, make sure that you keep the orientation correct so as not to affect your shifting. When you've loaded the last cog on, put the lock ring tool back in the lock ring and start threading it on by hand until it stops. If it binds or becomes tight, stop. There's a good chance you're cross-threading the free hub, so back up and start again. Remember, if it doesn't go, don't force it. Tighten it down until you feel it make contact. Take your adjustable thumb wrench and put it on the lock ring tool, and tighten the lock ring 6 to 10 clicks, or approximately 20 Newton meters. Now you're ready to load the skewer back into the kicker. Keeping the arrangement the same, we're going to install the skewer and the non-drive axle hardware first. For our latest model kicker, we're going to install the drive side axle adapter. Next will be the skewer spring, making sure to insert it cone side in so that it doesn't ride up over the kicker axle and prevent you from mounting your bike. Thread on the skewer nut, and now you're ready to mount your bike to your kicker.